Hello students. Today we are going to learn a very important topic in English grammar, active and passive voice, especially for competitive exams. In English, the term voice tells us whether the subject of the sentence is doing the action or receiving it. There are two main types, active voice and passive voice. In active voice, the subject is the doer. For example, Ramesh wrote a letter. Here, Ramesh is performing the action of writing. In passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. The object in the active sentence becomes the subject in the passive. For example, a letter was written by Ramesh. We use the passive voice when we want to emphasize the action itself, when the doer is unknown, or when we want a formal tone, such as in reports and notices. The rules for conversion are simple but must be followed carefully. Identify the object, move it to the subject position, use the correct form of be, change the main verb to past participle, and adjust pronouns. Let's quickly look at the pronoun changes. For example, I in active becomes me, in passive, he becomes him, she becomes her, and so on. Now let's see how voice changes tense by tense. In present simple, she writes a letter becomes a letter is written by her. In present continuous, she is reading a book becomes a book is being read by her. Notice the use of being with the past participle. In perfect tenses, we use have been or had been. For example, they have finished the task becomes the task has been finished by them. In questions, simply move the object forward. For example, did he complete the homework becomes was the homework completed by him. Imperatives also have a passive form. Close the door becomes let the door be closed.
Madam, may I ask a question? Can we have two correct passive forms for the same sentence?
Yes, sure. If a verb has two objects, either can become the subject. For example, she gave me a gift can become I was given a gift or a gift was given to me. Let us now understand what happens when the active sentence has no object. Normally, in passive voice, the object of the active sentence becomes the subject in passive. But if there is no object, then a normal passive is impossible. Common intransitive verbs like sleep, go, die, arrive, happen, sit, cry, occur, and live cannot be changed into passive. So, how do we handle such cases? English gives us some workarounds. Impersonal passive, active, people say he is honest. Passive, it is said that he is honest. Or he is said to be honest. There, clause in passive, active, they say there are many problems. Passive, it is said that there are many problems. Prepositional object promotion, active, we listen to the speech. Passive, the speech was listened to by us. So remember, students, without an object, normal passive is not possible. But with these structures, we can still form correct passive sentences. Here we understand how modal verbs work in passive voice. The structure is simple, object plus modal plus be plus V3 plus by plus subject. Let me show you with examples. Active, you can solve this puzzle. Passive, this puzzle can be solved by you. Active, they should follow the rules. Passive, the rules should be followed by them. Active, they will publish the book. Passive, the book will be published by them. Notice, students, the modal verb never changes. What we add is be plus V3 after the modal.
Madam, does this rule apply to all modal verbs?
Absolutely. Whether it's can, could, may, might, must, should, shall, will, or to, have to, need to, or used to, the formula is always the same, modal plus be plus past participle. So, Whenever you see a model in the active voice, just place be plus V3 after it to make the passive form. Now let's look at some special cases of passive voice where the rules are a little different. The first case is with two objects. For example, he gave me a pen. Here, we can make two passive forms, I was given a pen by him, or a pen was given to me by him. The second case is the infinitive passive. Active, I want to finish the job. Passive, I want the job to be finished. Next, we have the gerund passive. Active, I remember someone telling me the story. Passive, I remember being told the story. And finally, the causative passive. Active, they made him clean the room. Passive, he was made to clean the room. Before we end this chapter, let's talk about some common errors to avoid when changing active voice to passive voice. First, many students try to make passive sentences from intransitive verbs like sleep, go, die, arrive. That's a mistake because these verbs don't have an object, and without an object, a normal passive is impossible. Second, sometimes students use the wrong form of be for the tense, or they forget the correct past participle form, that is V3. For example, writing is wrote instead of is written. Third, forgetting to change pronouns to object form after by is a very common mistake. For example, by I is wrong, it should be by me. Fourth, many learners misplace adverbs or time expressions. Remember, they should stay in the same logical place in both active and passive sentences. And finally, students often overuse the passive voice. Passive is useful, but sometimes it makes the sentence heavy and unclear. In those cases, the active voice is the better choice. Here are 5 quick tips for passive voice. Tip 1. Always find the object in the active sentence first. Without it, passive is impossible. Tip 2. Follow the skeleton, object be V3 by subject. Tip 3. For modal verbs, it's always modal plus be plus V3. Tip 4. If you're unsure about by, leave it out unless the doer is important. Tip 5. Practice with all tenses, modals, infinitives, and gerunds to build confidence. Keep these in mind, and passive voice will become second nature. Let's quickly revise the formulas for passive voice. Times if the active is subject plus verb plus object. The passive is object plus be plus V3 plus by subject. Times with modals, it becomes object plus modal plus be plus V3. Times for continuous tenses, use being plus V3. Times and for perfect tenses, use have or has plus been plus V3. Just remember these 4 patterns and you can convert any active sentence into passive. That's it for today's lesson. Practice these conversions daily and you'll be ready for any competitive grammar question. Jai Hind!